fewer than 0.02% of Indians speak Sanskrit fluently. Yet it was pushed as the third language in states like Delhi. Before NEP 2020 could be rolled out, something major happened. The Indian education system struggles with around 1 million vacant teaching positions in government schools. Here's the thing, language is inseparable from identity globally. Language is also inseparable from all forms of education, be it geography or learning how to drive a two-wheeler. We learn these skills and subjects in a language that we understand best. As for myself, I learned 3 languages in school: English, Kannada, and Hindi, what we understand as the 3 language formula. And this is something that most of us grew up learning. But little did I know that this formula has been and continues to be at the heart of India's educational and political debates. So today we will decode the 3 language formula under the National Education Policy, its evolution, and how it directly impacts our life. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's get one thing straight. NEP's 3 language formula debate is not a new phenomenon. It goes back as early as 1938 when the Justice Party in Tamil Nadu led a campaign against the Congress government because the Congress government wanted to implement Hindustani, which is a mix of Hindi and Urdu, in 125 secondary schools in the then Madras presidency. And 2 activists, Tagamuttu and Natarajan, lost their lives to this revolt. And that was just the political beginning of how deep language could cut into our identity, our dignity, and our sense of self. Coming to free India, the language debate was set in motion by the Kothari Education Commission in 1964, following Article 351 of the Indian Constitution. This created the 3 language formula in 1968 under the chairmanship of Dr. Daulat Singh Kothari. It recommended Hindi, English, and a modern Indian regional language, preferably a southern language in Hindi-speaking states. And in non-Hindi speaking states, the formula was mother tongue, Hindi, and English. Also note here the placement of English. It's going to be important when we come to it later. Anyway, this 3 language formula was incorporated in the National Education Policy of 1968. Since then, India has brought out the National Education Policy 3 more times: 1986, 1992, and 2020. The 1968 Kothari Commission kept the reciprocity principle in mind, which is nothing but mutual language learning. Hindi-speaking states study a southern or modern Indian language while non-Hindi speaking states learn Hindi. However, in reality, this is what happened. Sanskrit gained traction as a safe substitute because it had central funding and teacher training programs readily available nationwide. Northern states found it logistically simpler with no need for specialized southern language experts and aligned with Sanskrit's role over regional tongues. And we have to also keep in mind that it was clearly easier for the Hindi-speaking states to learn this language. However, fewer than 0.02% of Indians speak Sanskrit fluently. Yet it was pushed as the third language in states like Delhi, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, and Maharashtra. This sidelined the southern languages due to lack of infrastructure there. Therefore, the reciprocity principle backfired in practice. Coming to the 1992 Program of Action, it reaffirmed the 3 language formula. It continued emphasis on the mother tongue or regional language as the primary medium of early schooling and also encouraged Hindi as a link language countrywide and English as a language of wider communication. Implementation did vary sharply across states, and Tamil Nadu, as it did since pre-independence, continued with a 2 language policy barring Hindi. My generation and the generations before me have grown up under this formula. So why are we hearing about Hindi imposition now more than before? Obviously, there has been social media over the last few years to amplify everything, but what is the buzz all about? Before NEP 2020 could be rolled out, something major happened and most of us missed hearing about it. In 2019, there was a clause recommending mandatory Hindi teaching in all schools in the draft NEP 2020. Tamil Nadu's DMK led the protests, and states like Karnataka and Maharashtra also opposed this clause. After the uproar, the NEP committee and the Human Resources and Development Ministry uploaded a revised draft in which the explicit requirement that non-Hindi states include Hindi was removed, acknowledging it as an inadvertent error. So what does the NEP 2020 say now regarding the three-language policy? Well, it requires students to learn three languages, with at least two being Indian, that is two Indian languages plus a third language. Now make note when it comes to the first two languages being Indian. The NEP 2020 emphasizes flexibility in language choices. It strongly recommends mother tongue, local or regional language as the first language and medium of instruction up to at least grade 5 and preferably extending to grade 8 and beyond where it is feasible. Circling back to the Hindi imposition that we've been hearing about, what reads in the NEP strictly prohibits forcing any language on states or students. Choice of languages is left up to the students, schools, and of course the state. So really nothing that different from the original three-language formula, except there is something simpler and you may have missed out on it, which is nothing but the sequencing of choice of languages. Confused? So the three-language formula and its sequence of languages in NEP 2020 has everything to do with the switcheroo of the English language. Or for this video, let's call it the foreign language, which it is. The three-language formula from 1968 to 1992 was based on the reciprocity principle that we mentioned earlier. On the other hand, the three-language formula from NEP 2020 recommends that a student must learn these three languages: the mother tongue or regional language, plus modern Indian language, plus foreign or classical language. As you can see, English, which was the second language in the three-language formula of 1968, is not mentioned explicitly here. Rather, the NEP 2020 suggests a foreign or classical language as the third language, while the second language is a modern Indian language. Therefore, English is no longer mandated for all states countrywide. Of course, English is included in the foreign languages, but also gives you the option to pursue other foreign languages apart from English. The obvious question after learning this would be, what must have been the sense in doing that? Well, English in India has been a complicated love-hate relationship. It gave us global opportunities, yes, jobs in tech, access to international research, success in business and diplomacy, but it also created a brutal class divide where English speakers get opportunities and everyone else fights for scraps, or knowing English has been symbolized as being better than the rest, or even smarter, especially if the accent is right. The reality, however, doesn't just end with English and varied perceptions. As per a 2021 report from the Education Ministry, only 26% of the total number of students in the country are enrolled in English medium schools, whereas 42% are enrolled in Hindi medium. However, there has been a surge in enrollments in English medium schools. Take the case of Tamil Nadu. The state leads the country in English medium enrollment, with 73% of students studying in English. While there is an increase in the number of students enrolled in English, the same is not reflected in their ability to understand subjects. For example, in the case of Tamil Nadu, English medium students scored 12% lower in language assessments compared to their Tamil medium counterparts. Similarly, another study conducted by non-profit Stones to Milestones found that only 12.5% of Indian students in grade 4 showed full and detailed understanding of texts in an English reading assessment. Why the struggle? Most students are first-generation English learners, yet all core subjects are taught in English. Effective English medium instruction requires a robust network of skilled educators who can simultaneously develop language proficiency and content comprehension, a foundation that is currently lacking. Without it, students face the double burden of mastering both the language and the subject matter. Evidence supports alternatives. Odisha's multilingual education pilot program shows that mother tongue instruction delivers measurable gains in academic performance, cognitive development, and student engagement. This is why English has been classified as a third language, that is, a foreign language, in order to ensure the equitable learning of language. The bottom line, students should be equipped to succeed academically regardless of the medium of instruction. But again, what's with the foreign languages angle? Well, that seems to denote the acknowledgement of migration patterns that India is witnessing. Indians aren't just migrating to the US, Canada, and UK anymore. Japan, South Korea, and other European countries are also witnessing Indians migrating there. Hence, the broadening of the third language category into foreign instead of just English. However, we must ask ourselves a very pertinent question having covered all of this. Could this model, truly multilingual, truly Indian, truly global, revive what we once were? The land where knowing as many languages as possible was a sign of strength and was proudly spread worldwide when foreign scholars came to study. Right, wrong is debatable and worth the discussion. What NEP 2020 does risk is repeating the 1968 NT's pitfalls despite its flexibility. The 1968 three-language formula faltered due to half-hearted desires, teacher shortages, lack of materials, and uneven state adoption. Northern states skipped southern languages while the southern ones resisted Hindi. Even though government schools have higher enrollments compared to your private unaided institutions today, the Indian education system struggles with around 1 million vacant teaching positions in government schools. And if we get into the lack of language experts, then the story gets bleaker. So here's the reality. This only works if implementation is flawless. Center state coordination, massive resources, teacher training, ground level execution. Most important is the desire among students to know more Indian languages. One weak link and this entire vision collapses into chaos. That's about it for today. Go comment down in the language that you feel most comfortable in and tell us what you think.